Hey guys, so I wanted to make a hot chocolate version of my little Christmas ornaments, and I've seen people doing different versions, but I'm going to use these little espresso cups. They were kind of expensive on Amazon, $18 for the 4. I feel like you could find them cheaper, but I wasn't able to. So the first step is just the top area. I'm going to just sand a little bit so that when we do our hot chocolate drips, that won't like peel off or anything. So just a really fine sandpaper and do the top edge all the way around. Have here my little decal that I printed out with my silhouette machine. I'm using this Cricut textured vinyl. It's like the black textured vinyl. I don't really know much about vinyl yet, but I had to redo it because I had to do like an inset, or I don't even know, like you make the letters a little bit bigger. I finally figured out how to do that. Because these letters are so tiny, it was really difficult. But this time I actually got it. It still took a few minutes, but just something this tiny, I feel like you're always going to have to do like really, really carefully. That was off, I went in and took out all the little tiny like middles of the O's and just kind of adjusted things. Some things got moved a little bit. So this vinyl too kind of wanted to just like slide around on there. So it's really, really tricky when you're doing stuff this tiny. So I'll have this download available. The link will be down below in the description box. Just keep in mind, if you are doing something little, just do... Is it like the offset? I'm not even sure. Like, I'm so new to using the silhouette machine. But basically where you just go in and make the letter, like the outline a little bit bigger. Because in the original, these letters are so like skinny that it didn't work right. So just keep that in mind. So then you just take tape and put it over to transfer it to the cup. So just carefully peel it off and make sure all your letters are on the tape. Then I set the little handle of that to make it so it was like even on the top. Then just line it up and transfer it to your cup. Just peel off your tape and make sure all the letters are stuck. I see I had a letter come off onto the tape. I had to push it on more and just peel it off gently. And you could do this on the back and front if you wanted to. I just did on one side. So then we're going to do our drips. I'm mixing up the Artisan Fast Set from DIY Epoxy. You could use the regular Artisan or whatever you have. I just was trying to get it to dry really fast, so I did the Fast Set. Then for the hot cocoa color, I'm just using the DIY Epoxy brown colorant and just mixing that in. Then I was wanting it a little bit darker, so I ended up adding just one tiny drop of the black dye from DIY Epoxy. We're going to be using the DIY Epoxy Shea Thick thickening agent, and this is just going to thicken it up so that we can do our drips of hot cocoa. You don't want to like pour this out of the bag. It's so like weird and fluffy. So I just use a spoon, just do like a spoonful and just slowly stir it in. Just careful and slow, and you'll see it starting to mix in. And then you can try to test it and see if it's the right consistency, but it will thicken up really fast. So if you're not familiar with using this, maybe just do a test run and just see how it goes. But especially with the fast set, it can get really thick really fast. Yeah, just use a little bit at a time. Then I grabbed just a plastic cup just to kind of test it and see where the thickness was at. I liked where it was at, so I went ahead and did it on the cup. So you're going to want to add your drips, and depending on what your style is, I didn't want like big, huge, long drips coming down. I just kind of wanted it to look like the hot chocolate had spilled over a little bit. But also keep your cup vertical. If you're turning it on its side to like get a better look at it, your drips are going to start going sideways, and you don't want that. So you want your cup up and down while you're doing your drips so that gravity will help you and keep dripping in the right direction. Make sure you cover the top side of the mug just so the white porcelain doesn't show through. You just see like the brown chocolate. And then I'm adding a little bit to where I want it to drip down a little bit more. The more that you add to that little part, the longer the drip should be, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Then there's where it was looking right after I finished. So then a couple hours later, because it was the fast set, it was pretty dry, but it was still, I should have waited till it was all the way dry, but I was being impatient. I was trying to get this video done fast. So we're just crumpling up some paper to put in the bottom so we don't have to fill it with our whipped cream. So I was just making sure that the paper would fit good enough. Christmas Day. So then just taking some Mod Podge on a brush, Mod Podge, I don't know, and putting it on the inside of the cup and on the paper just so that will be glued in there and won't budge. Trying to be extra careful shoving this paper in there, and then I actually dig my nail into a drip. Thankfully I fixed it, but yeah, I should have waited till it was fully dry. See right here, my thumbnail in it, I got the drip, but I was able to just kind of push it back on. So then for our whipped cream, we are using this DAP Fast and Final lightweight spackling stuff. Available at Home Depot and Lowe's. I linked it below on Amazon just so you guys could see what it is, but it's like really expensive on Amazon, I think, compared to Home Depot and Lowe's. And the color was like a little gray and weird, so I added yellow. It ended up being too yellow, so then I just took more of it and added a little bit of the yellowed kind from that cup, and it turned out to be a perfect color. It's kind of hard to tell on camera too, the difference, but in person I feel like I could tell a difference. Just adding that tiny bit of yellow made it look a little more like real whipped cream instead of just kind of gray weird color. So then I'm using this piping set, also from Amazon, and just like the biggest tip that they have, just put the tip in the bottom and then put it in a cup to fill it. Pull it out of the cup and just twist the end and push everything down. And then before I put that in, I wanted to glue on my little candy cane because I wanted a little candy cane sticking off the side. So I'm just using this like amazing goop or whatever that is, super goop stuff, just to stick it where I want it. Then I would suggest trying and just doing like a little test with the little piping stuff so you kind of see what it's coming out like and what it's looking like. Then I started going into the cup and I realized I should probably just put some in the cup and kind of flatten it out so I don't have to pipe on so much. Then just starting to pipe it, I went in the middle first so that you can kind of build it up. Then after my first little swirl, I realized I wanted it to be a lot fuller. So I just went over that and did another swirl. And I was pretty happy with that, except I needed to add a little bit on the edges, just so you couldn't see down into the cup and like the paper and stuff. Then just taking another candy cane and crushing it up. The Mod Podge was just sitting there, so I used that. Then I'm just going to use this as sprinkles. So just dumping it out, and then I took out the bigger chunks, anything that was just kind of too big, and then just sprinkled that on top. Patting down the bigger pieces to make sure they stuck. Then I thought we needed a little bit of glitter too. I don't remember what this one's called. It might be from Peachy Olive. I'm not sure. It's just like a really pretty kind of iridescent white glitter. So just sprinkling that on very gently. I didn't want to do too much. And I had longer nails, so I just kind of put it in my nail and sprinkled it on. So then just getting some of this string stuff, I just knotted it at the handle and then did a bow on the top of that. And then your little ornament is done. And then I realized when you hang it, if you hold it, it just goes completely sideways because it's so heavy. So what you want to do is just add a little bit of glue. I ended up doing hot glue, but you could do whatever kind of glue, just to glue it at the top there so that when you hang it from a tree, it hangs at a nice angle instead of just completely sideways.
Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times.
And that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.